Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Vijender Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English, and present. I have been posted at Government College, Gudha. In the series of video lectures which is being prepared by me, today's video lecture is for Class BA Part 1st, Subject English Literature, Paper 1st. And in this video, we are going to have a talk on the critical appreciation of Sarojini Naidu's famous poem, Indian Weavers. Very, very popular poem composed by Sarojini Naidu. So first of all, we will talk about the author or poetess. The poetess, as we know, Sarojini Naidu or Sarojini Chattopadhyay is a well-known name in India. She is associated and famous for her role in the freedom struggle and after independence in political field. But at the same time, she was a poetess also. She was born in 1879 and died in 1949. She is known by the nickname Bharatiya Kokila or the Nightingale of India. She was a talented personality of daughter of Mother India. She was a versatile genius. She had displayed her talent in various fields. She was a poetess, a freedom fighter, a fighter for women's rights, a leader, an administrator, and the first woman to be appointed an Indian state governor. She was also the first woman to be the president of Indian National Congress. She led an active literary life and attracted many Indian intellectuals to her saloon in Bombay. She set up a room and where she invited various intellectuals, and many intellectuals came, gathered there, and they discussed and expressed their opinions on different issues and at that time. She was judged by many the greatest of women poets. She has written many poems and has published them in various anthologies. The famous anthologies of Sarojini Naidu's are The Golden Threshold. It was published in 1905. The Bird of Time. It was published in 1912. And The Broken Wing. It was published in 1915. And she has published many poems. Now about the present poem, which is entitled as The Indian Weavers. It is a small lyric in 3 stanzas of 4 lines, each included in the folk songs section of The Golden Threshold. Means this poem was published in her anthology entitled The Golden Threshold, which was published in 1905. This poem sums up the life of human beings on earth in 3 main stages by using symbols like clothes and times of the day. Means various colors, times of the day symbolize various stages in human life. The journey of life begins with one color, blue, which means joy and happiness. Means when a person is born, he finds that there will be only happiness in his life. But with the passage of time, various colors are seen or experienced by that person. So it continues with the addition of a number of colors, such as green and purple, which has been mentioned by the poetess, which means sorrows also enter into life along with happiness. Life is more active in this stage than in the first stage. In the third stage or in the final stage, all the colors vanish away, they disappear. and a single color white, that is white, remains, which means emotions are connected with life, and when person dies, emotions also die. In each stanza, a question is asked in the first two lines. Means she has followed a fixed pattern in all the three stanzas. In the first two lines, she puts a question and it is answered in the remaining two lines. Weaving is one of the most important of the folk vocations in India, and the weavers are important folk characters. Kabir, a very well-known saint, was also a weaver. The poetess has skillfully retained the simplicity and lilting music of a folk song, even though the lyric has symbolic significance and a rich texture having layers within layers of meaning. It has many meanings at surface level and at hidden meanings, which are very important. In 12 lines, the poetess has provided a symbolic representation of man's journey from birth to death. The weavers are the fates of Greek mythology, weaving the web of life, or the Indian Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the lords of man's destiny, those who create and regenerate through death itself. That is, in Greek mythology, it is said that gods of fate, they decides the life or the lifespan of a person. If it cuts out in the middle, it means the life will be short, and if it continues with a full and long thread, then it means the life of that person will be a very long one. Similarly, in Indian mythology, there are three gods: Brahma, who is associated with regeneration, that is production; then Vishnu, who caretaker or who looks after the life, and Mahesh, that is Lord Shiva, who is destroyer. Their process of creation is an endless one, like the weaving of the weavers from morning till night. Means all the gods remains always busy. Now the situation is the poetess observes some weavers weaving a bright, beautiful cloth at break of day, very early in the morning, and asks the weavers why they are weaving such a gay cloth. Happiness. The weavers reply that they are weaving it for the dress of a newly born child. That is why the cloth they weave is of a blue color, as blue as the wing of a kingfisher. Kingfisher, as you know, it is a bird of very blue colors and it is very attractive. It attracts the attention and it is also associated with God. The dawn or daybreak symbolizes the depth and color ocean out of which emerge white swan and the white lotus in the Hindu creation myth. It's beginnings. It is production, just to take on the birth. It also symbolizes the ocean of eternity after crossing which alone the soul is born in this world. Means after leading, according to Hindu, 84 million lives, then a man is born as a human being. The newborn child is an expression of the creative powers and the creative joy of Brahma, the Supreme. Hence, it is in the fitness of things that the garment woven for him should be in blue color, gay and bright. Means it symbolizes only happiness, nothing else. At nightfall, at the time of evening, the poetess finds the weavers weaving a cloth bright and multicolored. And she sees that they are also busy at the time of evening, and this time the color of the cloth which they are weaving is different as compared to morning. In morning, they were weaving only blue cloth. Now it is multicolored cloth. So she asks them for whom they are weaving a cloth of such variegated colors, different varieties of colors. The weavers tell her that they are weaving a cloth of purple and green color, magnificent and colorful like the feathers of a peacock for the bridal dress of a queen. It symbolizes marriage time, a, a change in the life. Purple and green are the colors of blood and sap, and so symbolic of fertility and growth. The plumes of peacock represents the many colored splendor of life. In life, there is no one color, means no one emotion. We find different variety of sometimes happiness, sometimes sadness, sometimes sorrow, happy. Means this keep on as life goes on. And its perennial rhythm, the dance of being. The colorful garments designed to be the marriage veils of a queen are for Radha, the eternal bride. They symbolize the marriage of heaven and earth, the sacred union of being and becoming. The glory, the mystery, the joy of life are all stressed as the expression of joy of Vishnu in his creative mood. Night symbolizes Vishnu's Yoga Nidra, that is rising out of which he forces chaos into order. Night symbolizes something, a kind of, you can say, yoga by Lord Vishnu. After completing it, he restructures the world. That is, he puts the chaos into order. Now, in the midnight, that is in the cold moonlight, the poetess finds the weavers still at work. Means they were also weaving at the time of night. They are now silent and their mood is serious. They are now weaving a white cloth, as white as a bird's feather or a cloud. Or when the poetess is again asked the same question, to the question of the poetess, they reply briefly that they are weaving it for the funeral shroud of a dead man. As they say, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. The chill of the moonlit night is symbolic of death. And it is befitting that the shroud should be of white color. For white is the symbol of purity, of unity, and possibility. Death means a reunion with the eternal and the possibility of regeneration. The poem is remarkable for the beauty of its diction and imagery. It has a unique pattern of prosodic rhythm. Each of the verses is a tetrameter. Means the fixed meter has been used by the poetess, that is tetrameter. The first line begins with two trochees and ends with two iambs. The second and third lines begins with a trochee and end with a three iambs. In the fourth line, the order is two iambs and anaspast and an iamb. This arrangement is something novel. It is something new which is not normally done without any pre-meditations. That is, she adopted this type of meter after premeditation. The lyric is noted for its music and memorable lines. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A A B B C C D D E E F F. At the same time, the poetess has used beautiful similes in the poem. For example, blue as the wing of Halcyon Wild, like the plumes of a peacock, white as a feather and white as a cloud. These similes are apt, appropriate, and highly suggestive. Suggestive means they put the idea what the poet wants to say into a clear terms, very clearly. Thus, in this admirable lyric, the poetess has traced human life through the three most important stages that it passes, that is birth, marriage, and death. The texture is symbolic, and yet the poetess has succeeded retaining the simplicity of the folk song. Means she has been able to convey a great message is through symbols in a very simple lines. Even an ordinary person will face no problem in grasping the message given by the poetess. Thank you very much.